Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to First United Methodist Church here in Martinsville, Virginia. We are delighted to have you be here this afternoon for this wonderful concert with this fantastic group of people in front of us. They were in worship with us today, so we've gotten them fired up, and now you're going to fully enjoy them. We are the Martinsville Handbell Ensemble is housed in our building. They practice here, do all of their rehearsals here weekly, and this is what gives us the wonderful opportunity to present them in concert to you. In the middle of the concert today, there will be a free will offering taken. Ushers will come down. The ensemble will get a little bit of a break and come down and sit with you. And so we just ask you to generously give to this organization. Your money is what helps them do what they do. If you do want to write a check, we just ask that you write that to the Martinsville Handbell Ensemble. Okay, checks are to be made to the Martinsville Handbell Ensemble. So if anyone does not know, there are bathrooms down the chancel way here. And so if any of you are in need of that during the concert, just please exit to the back to go to the bathrooms there. But without further ado, I would like to hand this over to Dr. Pamela Randall, the director of the Martinsville Handbell Ensemble. Enjoy.
Welcome, everybody. It's a yucky, wet, nasty day outside, so we're really glad you're here instead. So I called this concert a little of this and a little of that because it's definitely a little of this and a little of that. There's no theme. There's no logic. It's just everywhere today. So we hope you'll enjoy. The first piece, I'm just going to tell you what we're playing. The first piece was actually a snippet from Rhythmic Rondell by Dobrinsky. The piece, as you can tell, is very demanding physically. A lot of techniques going up and down and table and shake. And so there were like 6 pages of that. And they got to whining by the time we got to page 6. So we just shortened it and made it our wake-up call. So we hope you're awake now, and we're going to keep you that way. The next piece is There's a Balm in Gilead, and the arranger of this one also is Cynthia Dobrinsky. We are going to play some other stuff, but we have so much great Cynthia Dobrinsky music, it seems a shame not to play it. So this is There is a Balm in Gilead. faces out here that come to all of our concerts, but just for those of you that maybe are new or have not played handbells or don't watch handbells, there obviously are lots of different techniques happening and several different kinds of handbells. So Beth, ring a regular brass bell. So that's a standard handbell. They were created in England. The first handbells were created so that carillon ringers, and carillons are those great bells that hang in the bell towers. If you lived in a village where the bell player had to practice, probably wasn't real pleasant, especially if they were playing something that wasn't very good. So they developed handbells so that handbell carillon ringers could practice inside. And they could work out the issues, and they could figure out what they were going to do and how they were going to do it, and then they could go to the bell towers. So those were Whitechapel, those were called. They had leather handles, did not have the control that we have with these bells. We can play very loud, very soft, shake them as you saw. We can strike them with mallets. We can do all kinds of crazy things that you obviously can't do with bells hanging in a tower. The other bells that we're playing, and Beth, if you'll pick up a chime, are chimes, and these were created because they're indestructible, and you could put them in schools, and children could learn how to play handbells without tearing anything up. Because the regular bells, these are Malmark bells, but the regular bells, if you drop one of those bells on a hard surface, it will shatter just like a piece of crystal. A little more durable than crystal, but it will shatter. I played in a high school group. Well, I played from middle school on, and we were playing at a very large Episcopal church in Parkersburg, West Virginia, and one of my colleagues fell down the stone steps in the front of the church carrying two big bells, and they hit the rocks, and they might as well have been crystal. They absolutely exploded. So they are fragile, not so much that we can't, beat on them with a mallet, but if you drop them, they're going to break. So chimes were created so that children could practice handbells, and the chimes truly are pretty much indestructible. But they have a unique sound, right? They're tuned the same as the handbells, and when you can put those two together, we can get some really interesting techniques and some different layering. So just there's your educational moment. Once a teacher, always a teacher. Just saying. We're doing Wade in the Water, and this one's by Ben Tucker, one of my favorite arrangers. So, you guys ready? when you get it right, you need to celebrate. You got it? rock concerts, right? Andy's back there going, oh my goodness. You know it's good when you're conducting this the first time with the fabulous Jill Gardner, and you look down because your watch has notified you that you're in a loud environment. Right? Like, okay, good, that's good. Thank you, Jill. As always, such a joy to play with you. This is also another Cynthia Dobrinsky piece, Be Still My Soul, which is the tune of Finlandia. We played this morning for the service. We're gonna calm things back down a little bit now. As Jill mentioned before, this choir, this Handbell choir, I told the Handbell choir members before, in case you didn't know this, I'm going to embarrass you, but I conduct this group because of my husband. My husband's up here somewhere. There he is. Look at him cutting the eye at me. Dean Randall loves to play handbells. I mean, loves to play handbells. Loves to play handbells. So when Robert retired, I said, oh, I don't know if I want to do any more. I don't know if I want another job. Oh, come on, you got to do the handbells. Okay. So it has turned out to be such a blessing to work with this group of people. They are amazing. But this choir would not exist if it weren't for multiple churches in this area. So I want to call them out one more time, and I do this every time because I think it's so important to remind people. The bells that you see in front of you are literally thousands upon thousands of dollars. Way, way up there. I'll just leave it at that. And they're all on loan. Part of the bells are from Forest Hills, part of the bells are from First Presbyterian, part of the tables and equipment are from Starling Avenue, and as Jill already mentioned, we're graciously hosted by First United Methodist. So everything you see up here, none of it belongs to any one organization. It's all borrowed from here, there, and everywhere, and would not be possible without those churches trusting us with these huge investments of time and equipment. So first of all, could you give those members that are here a thank you for me? Thank you. Second of all, we do not do any fundraising. We are not supported by any organization in town. We purchase music based on your generosity. Music costs about $3.95 per person, per stand. So we'd like to keep playing. We've been borrowing music, but we'd love to buy some new music, just saying, hint, hint. So we are a 501c3, 3C, I always say that backwards, C3. Yes, thank you. So if you want to make a charitable donation, obviously we can give you the paperwork required for that as well, if that helps you make your decision. And I guess that's it. We'll talk about the bass bells when we come back, but we're going to sit down and rest our feet just a minute, and the fabulous Jill Gardner and Beth Chapman are going to entertain you while we take up the offering. Thank you. King, The Lion Sleeps Tonight. While we're transitioning here, I want to talk about the bass bells. Brian, could you pick up the G maybe and ring that for us? So these are our newest bells, thanks to a very generous donation. Can I call you out?
Go ahead, she's embarrassed.
Janet Fintrust actually purchased those bottom bass bells for us and donated them to First Pres, who turned around and loaned them to us. So can you say thank you? Do they not add a lot? And you see that Morgan, one of the smallest people in the choir, is playing the biggest bass bells we have that are in brass. You want to ring one of those? Takes two hands, but she gets it done. She's got nice, strong muscles. So if you get bells any bigger than that in the brass mixture that handbells are made out of, no one can ring them. No one can swing. I mean, someone can swing them. Average people can't swing them. So the bells, Brian's playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those big bells. And these are cast in aluminum. So you'll notice they do sound a little bit different, but obviously they're swingable. So that's our newest addition to the bell choir. So now we're up to 3 rows. So we're missing the top tiny, tiny 6 ones. Play the highest bell we have, the tiniest little bell we have. No. We need 6 more beyond that, just saying, if anyone's feeling generous. Okay? They're a lot cheaper. You can buy those 6 for what you can buy 1. Just saying, okay? All right. The next piece is, again, Cynthia Dobrinsky, Allegro Brillante. And I didn't give you the composer on the last one. Tammy Waldrop was the composer, or not the composer, but the arranger for the last one. you see a lot of people moving and shifting and changing around. So one of my goals for this group this year was to make us come out of our comfort zone and play in different positions. So you'll see people moving to the bass table. We're moving back up to the soprano table. We have several floaters who are coming in and out. That makes it more interesting for the ringers, because they get to play in different positions and play different styles and different techniques. Some things we do in the soprano bells, such as 4 in hand. Spencer, will you pick up 2 bells in each hand? So what's happening is he's playing an octave apart. So he has like E6 and E7. I don't know which one do you have. A. There we go. A6 and A7. Bring him again. So that's called doubling. 4 in hand, technically, is 2 different bells in each hand. So C, D, E, F. So you're ringing this way for one note and this way for the other note. So this choir started out playing, I would say, 2+ music. Music is rated from 1 to 5. A lot of what you're hearing today is 4 and 4+. So you can tell how often they're changing keys, how often the techniques are changing. All of that makes it much more difficult because every 4 measures or so in that piece, for instance, we were changing keys, especially in that middle section. So I'm bragging on them a little bit. I'm a slave driver, but they've worked really, really hard. And they're just getting better and better and better and better. So again, it's a joy to work with them. This is Somebody's Knocking at Your Door. We can even play the sticks. Shoot, give us something to pound on. We'll pound on it. Before as they're moving to their next spots, Greg, would you mind picking up one of the big chimes in the very back and ringing it? So you can't see these. I don't think you can see them from where you're seated. But this is actually the giant chimes. So they mirror the bells that are on the table. So play the G bell, please, and then play the G chime. Right again. There it goes. See, it has this very deep woofy sound, right? So one of the pieces we played earlier, Ashley was actually leaving them in the stand and pulling the mallet back and throwing it at the bell to get that low resonance back there. So we got a lot of tricks up our sleeves. This is Battle Hymn, and we're going to have Jill join us again, so get ready. You're back at the rock concert. I'm not going to announce the last piece because you're going to know the last piece. So before we do it, again, thank you. I realize that handbells are not for everybody. I get it. But we are so grateful for those of you that always come out and support us. And we will be doing a concert for the holidays. For those of us that are doing Smith River Singers and this group, oh, look at this. They're into it today. We are, the Handbell concert will be December 10th at 2 in the afternoon. December 10th at 2 in the afternoon. So you go to church, you go have a really good lunch, and then you come right back here, right? 10 o'clock at December 10th at 2, and then the Smith River Singers concert will be Monday night on the 11th. So bells on Sunday, choir on Monday, you'll be ready to go. I can introduce them. Well, they can introduce themselves. How about that? Why don't we do that? Yes, you can do that.
Susan Franklin from Starland Avenue Baptist Church.
Okay, say it again. We didn't hear it.
Susan Franklin from Starland Avenue Baptist Church.
No. It's on.
John Fulcher, retired pastor at First Baptist Church.
Dean Randall, I'm the reason we do bells.
Anita McIntyre from Bethlehem United Methodist and Fork Mountain. Kelsey Woodward.
Where do you live?
My name.
Beth Chapman from First United Methodist.
Wendy Luther.
Spencer Koger, Director of Music and Organist from First Presbyterian Church in Martinsville.
Maggie Seachrist, I go to Bassett High School, I'm in 10th grade.
Melissa Seachrist. Catherine Walker, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Bassett.
Martin Harris, Fieldale United Methodist Church.
John Christian, Wesley Memorial United Methodist.
Greg Roby, First Presbyterian, Danville, Virginia.
Morgan Seachrist from Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Martinsville.
Ashley Stanley Roby, I'm the Director of Music at First Presbyterian in Danville, Virginia.
Brian Fentress, Church of the Nativity in Raleigh.
He gets the pride for driving. So a very diverse group. As you can see, we have everything from high school students to retired. So there we go. This is awesome. They're giving you a little hint. Let's try that one more time. Let's try that. Make sure we have the right bell in our hand. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's better.
to thank Dr. Pamela Randall and the Martinsville Handbell Ensemble, but should they play an encore? And what should it be? I think the people have spoken. And while they're getting their placements, putting on their costumes, making a martini under the table, just to let you know, too, on October the 8th, here at First United Methodist in the evening at 7 p.m., many of you might remember when the Music Mission Kiev Orchestra and Chorus were here back in 2015. They were supposed to come in March of this past year, ran into visa problems, but they have been able to work all of that out, and they are touring the East Coast right now. So they will be here in our sanctuary on the evening of October the 8th at 7 p.m. So please, you'll be hearing about this through advertising in the community. We're going to take it to Danville, too, and up to Roanoke, because the only places in Virginia that this choir will be singing is in Richmond and Alexandria. So we are very fortunate to be able to get them to the Martinsville area. This year, too, due to the war in Ukraine, it will only be the girls. They will not allow the men or boys out of the country currently. So it's a little interesting twist on what they're able to do. But please come and support this community and this group of musicians. We will have a presentation that night as well, because they do mission. They are helping widows and orphans and displaced people. And we will have a video that night to talk about the work that they are doing in Ukraine. But hopefully they'll be as good as this ensemble. Okay? But thank you again, Dr. Randall, and without further ado.